2018 Buick Regal TourX First Drive Review. Pop the champagne, it's another wagon. As a newborn member of an endangered species, we should probably pop open the dome to fete the arrival of the 2018 Buick Regal TourX. It's a wagon, after all, and if there's anything we automotive writers have been clamoring for is more wagons. Forget those SUVs, we've implored. This wagon over here is better. Just as much cargo space, better to drive. And have you seen it in brown? Well, it seems like our collective proselytizing is starting to pay off, or perhaps far more likely, consumer tastes are shifting a bit to appreciate the wagon. Sure, they need to be lifted a bit and sport plastic fender flares to add a wee bit of SUV-ish flavor, but who the hell cares? Beggars, choosers, etc. It's a wagon, and we should be happy it's here. And we are. The Regal TourX is a pretty good one that thankfully offers more than just its mere existence. It especially delivers on the space front, which is refreshing since most of today's wagons are not as cargo-friendly as the collective we would like to admit. An Audi Q5 regrettably does have more cargo space than an Audi A4 Allroad. Yet, the TourX has more than both, considerably more in fact, coming in at a certifiably huge 73.5 cubic feet of maximum space. The difference is palpable between it and the 53.5 cubic foot Allroad, which Buick considers the TourX's closest competitor. As the below video, somewhat, demonstrates, I was able to cram 12 Patagonia duffel bags into the Allroad, filling up most of the cabin. The same amount in the TourX left tons of residual space. You could still see out the back, and loading it all in didn't require a degree in advanced Tetris. There's also a far more useful amount of space with the back seat raised, 32.7 versus 24.2. That area is especially lengthy, and with the large rear quarter windows and reasonably square roofline, it should be a good choice for dog owners. There's no built-in dog net behind the back seat as you'll find in the Allroad and BMW 3 Series wagon. You'd have to go the aftermarket route, but your four-legged buddy should at least appreciate the lower liftover, jump-aboard height. Which brings us to the next wagon benefit, the lower roof height. According to Buick's marketing folks, people who buy off-roadish wagons like the Regal TourX are far more likely to actually live the outdoorsy active lifestyles the owners of SUVs usually only envision for themselves. That means things are going to be mounted on the roof: bikes, kayaks, skis, snowboards, cargo boxes, antenna, whatever, and getting them up there is sure made easier with a lower vehicle. I'm 6'3", and in the video below, you can easily see how much easier it was to reach a roof-mounted bike on the TourX versus an SUV like the Buick Enclave. And actually, the TourX is lower than other wagons, too. Not by that much in comparison to an Allroad or a Volkswagen Alltrack, but the Subaru Outback stands a whopping 7.7 inches taller. That's a huge difference, but here's the rub. That lower overall height is countered by the Regal's rather pathetic amount of extra ground clearance. Buick doesn't even publish the number, but it's negligible compared to the Regal Sportback and most likely less than the Allroad, which itself was lowered by 0.6 to a meager 6.5 inches when it was redesigned. By comparison, the Outback stands at a lofty 8.7 inches. A difference you can see demonstrated by how much of my hand fits between each wagon's wheel wells. Now, we actually did drive the Regal TourX on a lengthy stretch of dirt road around Sedona, Arizona, but that only demonstrated what it looks like when covered in red dirt. In actuality, anything short of an exotic sports car could have tackled the same rutted road.